Good day, class. This is BUS211, Principles of Management, and my name is Jonathan ASOLOKO, your usual lecturer. How is your day today? All right, we are just in our 8th week of study from what I have here, from the course outline. We are discussing today the Nigerian business environment. The Nigerian business environment, that is, we are looking at the economy and encompassing completely the business world within the fabrics or the jurisdiction of Nigeria. And we try to appraise a lot of things. Like one, we want to know the problems that the managers are facing, especially that's what the course outline says. That should look at what the managers are facing in businesses. And one basic problem the managers are facing is how to maximize the use of resources. All right, resources is very, very scarce, no matter what it is, whether it is time, whether it is money, whether it is even the men, quality men. The resources are scarce. Just as how we normally in the class, so we have some students who are not, who tend to say they cannot, really don't answer questions, but others answer. So we have the sharp students who understand easily may not be there, and the few ones who have to struggle to bring them up. So that we say resources are scarce. So you are thinking, and then all the faculty they have, which you have not developed right from secondary school before coming here, some of you give us a lot of problem, and that's why we say resources are scarce. And one of the human intelligence too is scarce. So by the time we push you out and we don't groom you very well, you will now throw the problem to the manager, and the manager begin to have a lot of problem how he can manage you. That is the human mind itself. All right, just as if you remember, I told you when we were teaching you about the 6 M's of management, we mentioned 6. One, which mentioned men, materials, we mentioned money, we mentioned methods, we mentioned machines, and then we mentioned this thing, what do they call it, the markets, which is the last one. And we said that these resources, they are quite scarce and expensive. That's why how to bring them together. How to bring them together is a problem, and especially the human aspect of the M is one that is very difficult to control. And so when you have scarce resources, intelligent people are scarce, truthful people are scarce, but I believe you students are going to be truthful in the future. All right, even now I have some few people in my class who are truthful, and I want all of you to be truthful so that we produce students who are intelligent and meet up with the resources that the manager wants when it comes to men. Not just first class and then you don't know anything. No, you should be able to know it. Know it very well, and all other resources are always scarce. But how to manage this thing together, that is what the manager is always facing, the problem is facing. So manager will have to work with what the shareholders give them. That, well, there is enough money, but like I told you before, the last time we were talking, when we were teaching about the issues of planning and others, the managers, they, like when we're talking about, when the companies are being established, some of them source for funds where from the capital market, and this market, they spend so much to go to the capital market to get these funds, and when these funds are gotten, now to put them into efficient use is another problem. So that is why we say resources are scarce. The machines itself are scarce. If you are buying a machine, it could be very expensive, and you are buying it to come and put up in your system. The software they are using, they could be very expensive, and management and the shareholders approved that you buy this thing to improve business, and these things are quite expensive. The resources to even get them expensive. Most of these things we don't do them in Nigeria. We have to import them. Even the software, we find it difficult to develop our own. So we have to rely on the Chinese and other countries to give us, and we buy them very expensive. And by doing that, our money goes out. So much capital flight is being taken. That will take so much money overseas to buy this thing and bring that to the country. And then you look at the raw materials so that we need. In doing your business, it depends on what you are producing. If you have anything you are producing, just the raw material, the input that comes into it, it is also scarce. You don't get it anyhow. There's nothing. Some of them you have to dig the earth very far before you can get it. Even the food that we cook, you have to plant, and at times the season could be very, very poor. And if it's poor, even your home, everybody will scarce. That's why at times you hear of hunger, you hear of starvation here and there. It's because food is scarce. So most resources are scarce. And with our teeming population, we are growing too much. Nobody can say exactly what is the population of Nigeria. We are just exploding. I don't know whether it's arithmetical, geographical progression, geometric progression, or arithmetic progression. Nigeria is exploding. I don't know, but it's high. Nobody can categorically say this is the population of Nigeria. But I believe, to me, I believe Nigeria is over 200 million. And it's quite large. And meanwhile, the size of the country has not increased. It is rather depleting, because you cannot see that even the land is not enough for us. And that's why we're having problem with the herdsmen, farmers and herdsmen are fighting. You know, things are so difficult. What is it? Is the scarcity of the resources, the earth itself, the resources that God has given us, which is on the surface of the earth. We have to, and within the jurisdiction of Nigeria, is scarce. So managers find it difficult to do with these scarce resources and other resources. There are so many. You keep mentioning them, you cannot finish mentioning them. What the goal line there is that these resources are scarce. So managing, you must use the best efficient way to do them, so that your shareholders will be happy with you. Because when the time of AGM comes, you can't come and start telling them that you are not able to manage what they gave you to manage. You must be seen to do well. If you don't do it, some of shareholders, if they are annoyed with you, they'll just take a resolution and then send you to go and be tried by court. And then you see the problem that will come with you. So the resources are actually scarce. All right. Now let's go to the second point. The second point here is that managers find it difficult to achieve corporate goals. You know. Now at the AGM, when you are setting up a company, your shareholders come in. Yeah, they are the owners of the company. Now they set up this business for you, and they are licensed by the Corporate Affairs Commission. Now they have, right on the onset, every business has its own goals. Specifically, you have your own goals that you have to achieve. Whether they are big or small, they are goals that you have to achieve. And in achieving these goals, the shareholders set up the goals for you. Government there, and then there, as they set the goal for you, you have problem of meeting with the government resolution. You have to meet with the different kind of aspect of the government. They will come in, the commission will come in, who are regulating the system, they will come in. This one will come in, every other system will come in. And if you are operating in the states too will come in with their problem. And because of a business, and all the community around you will always have their problem. So in achieving your own goal, you must look at those around you. Whether the goal is big or small, you just have to achieve it. Well, they have targets, and that's why we have mission and vision statements in all corporate organizations. Those ones state exactly what the company needs to achieve. So the manager has to strive all day long, put your heads together, do all the permutations and the combinations that he has to do, all the mathematics and reasoning that he has to do. He uses IQ. At times they don't sleep well, just in order to make the system not to fail. Because no shareholder will hear failure. They give you some billions and you come back and start telling stories. They will say, no, what is the goal you have achieved? What is the goal you have achieved? They will tell you, they will mention the targets. What have you given us? How many branches have you been able to create? How many products have you been able to bring in the market? How many new products you have brought? The even existing ones, have you been able to sell, meet up your threshold of selling? No. If you have not been able to meet up, I am telling you, your shareholders will not be happy. The government will not be happy. Because federal revenue are on you, the state inland revenue are on you, wherever existing, the local government are on you, the small communities are on you. So you have to, in the face of all this problem, you have to work in achieving the goals of the organization. If you cannot achieve the goals of the organization, honestly, the managers are facing, and that's the problem managers are facing. And different organizations have their own goals. No matter what the organization it is, all of them have their own goals. So these are one of the problems or major problems that the management, of Nigerian managers are facing. Now, the third one is daily business improvement. You know, on a daily basis, you run the company, and you have a lot of staff under you, and then you have a lot of resources under you, whether scarce or not scarce. The way anyhow you look at it is there, and meanwhile the resources are scarce, and you have to achieve the goals of the business. So every day you run, there is a business strategy that you have to take every day in order to allow the business to run. You check the movement of staff, the in and out of staff, who is reporting, who is not reporting. You check his work, whether he's doing his work or he's not doing his work well. You have to check it. That is the work of the manager. So they set up supervisors for you, and the supervisors have to check your work. They make sure you're there. They make sure you achieve all their daily activities. You must achieve it, and that is why the at the onset of the business, when they're designing the work, as I taught you when I was talking about job designing, you know, you design the particular job you're coming, like accountants. All you accountants, they're going to be accountants tomorrow. So you have specifically your duties and responsibilities, which you have to do daily to meet up the corporate goals of the business. I know it's a daily thing. The manager has to see that you are doing your work well. If you're not doing, it's a problem. He just has to see you're doing your work well. So every day the manager is like a police to you. He's eyeing, not really a police as I may say, but he's, you know, the police, people say the police are a friend. The police is a friend, but in Nigeria I don't know whether they are a friend to us, because at times they sort of push us to do what, whenever you say policeman, you start running, because you're a criminal. But they push us. The manager is not pushing you. He is rather being friendly with you to make you work. He looks at you, so you don't have to fear as if he's coming to, give you what do you call it, some kind of reprimand by giving you query or not. But anyway, if you don't do your work, of course, if you can't meet up the daily, they will give you query. So every day the manager has to see the movement of the business it well. Money comes in, what has been bought, what has not been bought, what will this money be used, the staff that come in, all they put them together and see the total movement. And that is how, as it's moving every day, then you get weekly report, daily report, weekly report, quarterly report, monthly report, all. And then from there you're going to know the movement of business, whether it's improving or not. Is the work of the manager. Now that brings us to the fourth one. The fourth one is dealing with employees who perform below average. You know, that's why I told you, we are here in the university so that we can groom you. I keep telling you this, the last time I told you that you have to read their books. Read well, so that you become employees of good character, and you become employee of real, that yes, we say these are people from Nasarawa State University, and then you're trained by people like me. Don't just say, because we would teach you a lot, I can't give a lot, it's a problem. And that's why I give you a lot of tests in the class. Every day we work, we do this thing, we will have to go for quiz or test. I don't believe in leaving you to rest. So we have to move so that you become good employee and you become capable employee that can perform well. So if you start performing below standard, it becomes a problem for the manager. And we have a lot of employees that become performing very low. Why? Some of them, instead of doing their work, they have finished their work. Well, you can, maybe when you start, they give the what do they call it? Your duties and responsibility. Then you do the work well. After a month or two, you are working well, and all of a sudden you start becoming friends with some people, and everybody, you form informal group with the system, and then the next thing, you start doing things that takes attention from the work. You especially go out of the day, you go to your place, and the next you go to joints, or you go to one association or other, and you don't sleep early, or you sleep late. Then you come, and then the next thing is in the office, you are always looking tired and looking haggard. So how can you perform? You perform well. So what you're supposed to sleep well. Whenever you finish your work, take your good 6 hours sleep very well. If not 8, that's for the babies. But you are only 6 as adult. Sleep very well so that you can perform well in the office. And then review your work every day. Some of the things we teach you, you have to keep reading so that you become employees that will perform well. And then the manager will not have to have problem with you. Laziness is not condoned. You know, tardiness of work. That tardiness means you come to work today, you don't come to work, you will be there, you just run away and leave your work, go and sit down and gisting with one woman or girlfriend or somebody by the side. No, it's not condoned. You know, you will perform below par, and the manager will not be happy with you, and things will go wrong. So in such doing, and when the manager starts disciplining, it becomes a problem. And you know our Nigerian system, by the time the manager starts, what a namu, that is to say, this one is our own. Why are you dealing with him? What, maybe he's one of the son to the shareholder, or one of the cousin to the shareholder, and because of problem, the manager is trying to reprimand him. It's because of problem. If he wants to punish him, it's because, in fact, some of the managers will even lose their job because you are a staff that's not performing well, is under me, and I'm saying no because he has a connection somewhere, and they become a problem. So, but if you will do your job well, and you help the manager. So all of us will do our work well so that we can help the manager. So that is why the Nasarawa State University is training you well so that you become staff that will perform well in your organization. All right. Now, let's go to the next one again, which the manager is facing. There's another problem the manager is facing: crisis management. Now, you know, crisis in every situation, no matter what it is, times crisis come up. So when crisis come up like that, what would the manager do? You know, there are situations that things are so difficult, and then an uproar, things can come, disaffection can come within the staff, and all of a sudden the staff are not happy. It becomes a crisis. Or there are times when you are importing something, and then all of a sudden the truck that is bringing it from Lagos to the port has a problem. Issues, then there are come when some natural disasters could happen. Your staff, you just came one day and your staff are gone. Some of staff are dead or something. You need people to replace them. So all these things becomes a crisis for the manager. How to manage this crisis? At times, the community too, issues can just come up, and you see the community coming out to attack the organization. How do you go about it? That is it. Managers are always having problem in doing that. Right? So to manage the work and to keep the corporate goals becomes a problem. You know, there are times when there could be disaffection within the system, and then the staff will just rise up, maybe because some of their dues were not giving them, or the management is not performing. You know, things are difficult, as I told you. Resources are quite difficult. If a staff is supposed to pay a salary and is not paid, then the union will start fighting you, and then crisis come up. So managers have to find a way of dealing with this. They even go beyond the company to go and borrow money at very expensive or high rates, interest rate, in order to manage the situation. And these are issues that manager would have headache. Different kind of crisis from the government, crisis from here, crisis from the community, even family crisis. His own family still on his own head, and management, you know, he will have to suffer. So the management will have to, the manager has a lot of things to do. He cope with his family problem, cope with time, cope with this. So issues are kind of difficult, and so manager, as a manager, you have to find a way of wriggling yourself out in the best alternative that will not impede, especially on the on the company's goals, and at the same time company assets. Right. Let's go to the sixth one now, which is hiring the right people for the job. Now, that is the reason why I keep telling some of you in the class, read well. You go for interview now, they say spell something like the way you normally spell in the class. I say, I can't imagine a student when I say he's trying to write to me and he's comparing, say if he's saying comparing one to another, he say I'm doing this in order for this to be done. And then instead of to write that in order, he writes, instead of write in I-N-O-R-D-E-R, he write I-N then O-T-H-E-R. So you students, that's the problem I'm facing with you all. How can you be writing things wrongly? Then we'll pass you and you go out and you become give us problem. You know, you go out and they say we didn't train you well. No, we must train you well. Some of the tests I give you, you see what I've been giving, a lot of errors. You just cannot spell well. I don't even know whether you came from which kind of school. Most of you, whether it's I learned that is what they call miracle centers. You just go writing on the board for you. So you cannot write well, you cannot read well, and how do we do with you? Then you come out tomorrow, some of you will go out to work, and your parents will just find their way and put you and impose you on some managers, and then you are not the right person and you cannot perform. So manager find problem in employing even the right people for the job, because pressure from parents, pressure from shareholders, things are, and if he wants to go back to shareholder and tell them, say, my son, I have money, why can't you say you can't keep my son there? And he has to do it. So it's the manager's problem to get the right person that will do the work. And if he gets the right person that will do the work, after a while another company will employ that person, because there's a possibility the government is not paying well, or I'm sorry, the government, the company is not paying well, or he needed he saw another job and nobody gave him, and then you have to keep that company, that staff. Of course, you have to do everything to keep him and everything to hire and keep him. So bringing in staff that are good is another problem again that the manager has to face all the time. Then number 7, the 7th item there is bringing out the best in an employee. Yes, you see, just let me compare that. Bringing out the best in a student. Every staff or lecturer that you see here in the department and all other staff who are working tirelessly to bring the best out of you. Some of you will not come to class. Some of you will come to class drunk. Some of you will come to class with kind of hair, every kind of thing, dress anyhow. No, so we'll send you out to go and dress well. Yes, we want to bring the best out. We have to nurture you and train you well and bring you into a good nurture that you will not go there and disappoint us and disgrace National State University. And that's what we're doing here. And so you have, if when you go there, bringing the best out so that you work well becomes a manager's problem, especially if you don't want to do work. You know, we employ some people who just go, you tell them to do what they don't want to do. Even in the class, do assignment you don't want to do. Test, I say this test I give you 10 minutes or 15 minutes, right? Some people will not even write anything. Just write their names and write one line and just say nonsense on this thing on the paper. Is that how you're going to do when you're going to work? These are the issues you're facing. I can bring examples of some of these papers for you that I marked. It's so funny. And is that how you're going to work? And they will go and load you to a manager, and the manager will have a crisis on you. So to bring you up so that you do your optimum best is the manager's problem too. Let me take some water. All right, let's go to the 8th now. The 8th item is that now is effective communication. You see, even in your family, if there is something your father will tell you to do, he told you to do something, and you went and did something different, thinking that is what you say your father do. Why? It's because right from secondary school or where you are English is poor. Your communication is poor. If they tell you do this, you don't even know what the manager say they should do. So how do you want to manage? So you have to effectively know how to communicate the right point that will tell the staff of what to do, what exactly you want to do. That's why in exam, whenever we write exam for you, I mean we give you examination, we tend to write the questions in the best way that you can understand, and we feel you can understand. If you don't understand, we don't know how we're going to make the English for you to understand. What do you write in your language name or what? So the manager faces in communicating even your duties and responsibility to you. Some of us are so I don't know, we are not so intelligent enough. We went to school and we cannot pass through the school well, and then we get it. We just want certificate. We don't want to learn, and you go, you cannot even say a name, you can't even say a sentence correctly. So how can you talk to the manager? The manager will feel bad. So he finds a reason even to communicate with the problem. I say, okay, John, or Musa, when you go to this as a driver, go here, fill the tank, 5,000, buy this, buy that, and then Musa comes back. What you say you should buy, he bought a different thing and come. So what do you want the manager to do? So managers come up with this problem that even to download this particular job function are given to you so that you understand is the problem. So it's the work of the manager every now and then to appraise you and to send you so that your communication skills and how you pass messages can improve so that all the corporate goals can be achieved. Now the next problem of the manager is what? Time management. As I told you, nobody waits for anything. I remember that when I was a small boy, there was one song that said, time now money, oh, time now money. You see, you don't waste time. As I told you, I was teaching you that day, I said everything in life has its own time. The time you were born, the time you are in school, primary school, secondary school, university, is there. And then after that, higher degrees. You cannot be 80 years and then you say you want to go back and start reading degree to do what with it. Everything has time. And so the manager, what you're supposed to do in the morning, as early as you come to work, you have to come and do it at early. Not so when you're supposed to do primary school, you didn't do primary school. Then it is when you're doing secondary school, you're doing primary school. So how do you do it? You see, then confusion comes even within you. And because you couldn't keep to time, because of that time, the dynamics of time which you couldn't keep up, it has caught up with you. And then you find yourself when you come to class, they start telling you that this old man has been done. You are learning with small boys, and you find it difficult to manage with the small boys, and you start getting angry with the small boy calling Papa, Papa BSc, and you are almost 40 reading BSc. So these are the issues that you will find even somebody who is supposed to be doing his job, the job they're supposed to be 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock, he is doing it at 1 or 3. So how do you expect the manager to be happy with you? Time doesn't wait for anybody. What you're supposed to do early, do it early. Now, one of the things that we try to make you to understand that you have to, like me, I normally organize lectures to you early in the morning, maybe 6:30 or 9 or 6 or 9, 6:30 or 7 or 8, 9. I know I'm doing that so that you will know how to manage. You can sleep well and wake up quick and meet up with your classes. That is what you will do when you're working. You have to meet up the management timing. Now you are in Kefi and you're working in Abuja. What are you supposed to go to your office? Go very early. We leave Kefi around 5 o'clock. Be in Abuja because by 7, and you're already in the office by 7:30. Good. Then you start your work. Bed, you go, come late and you stay in the traffic, and then by the time you get there it's 10. How do you want the manager to be happy with you when you have not done your work? Time doesn't wait for anybody. Just like how time doesn't wait for your age. When the time for you to read, you didn't read, and you want to study it again, think your brain is dying, and it becomes a problem. So the manager has a problem of managing time, and you too managing time. You have to meet up with the timings of everything within the system. Everything has its own time. Time of coming, time of lunch, time of doing this work, time of doing the other work, time of this, and then time of closing. You have to meet it all. Arrange your time in that way. That's why we discipline you right here. We say in the morning we'll have these courses, in the morning, and then in the evening we'll have other courses. And then there are times. So we give you, that's what we're trying to teach you how to manage time, even right here, which the manager is also facing. Now let's go to the next one, which is pressure to perform. Yes. You know, the community where you're living in, where your business is, if you're not performing well, you begin to not. You have to meet up with the community. That is, everywhere you're going, you are working, you have what they call corporate social responsibility to the community, to the government, to your company. Your company, you are there to perform for them. You have to meet goals. So the pressure will be on the manager all the time to perform. You see that when you enter a committee, the committee will come and meet you, say, employer, oh no, even it's a cleaner. And then you have to look at their budget. Look at the people you have employed already. And you keep this. So the pressure from that comes in. The pressure from your family comes in. The pressure from your village comes in. The pressure from one political leader comes in. Oh, they will pressurize you, employer, oh, do this, do that. The bank will pressurize you. Your financial system will pressurize you. These are the issues that will come. So managers are always acting on pressure. But the hardest one is the shareholders. If you don't give them what they want, they will give you problem, and you must perform. Next one, 11, political challenges. We can see the political challenges in the country. Changes of when the now immediately result this country 4 years after another election, another 4 years after elections. So things are changing from one system to another system. One party will come up with its own policies, another party will come up, and it can affect the business. It will affect the exchange rate, interest rate, and then monetary policies will change. So a lot of things, and those things can affect the businesses. Now, the managers to deal with cultural challenges. That is, cultural challenges are wide. We talked about culture in the office, all kind of cultural forms, groups, social groups, and all whatnot in the office. The manager meets different kind of challenges. Some people just form a group, boyfriend girlfriend group, and before you know it, right inside the office, husband and wife, people will get married, and he meets all those challenges that affect him, and he has to meet all those challenges. Then the last one is 13, gender challenges. Women, they have been talking about giving women equal rights in the world. Yeah, it's true. You have to give them this thing. You just don't employ only men in your place of work. No, you have to mix up with women too. And then I remember the IG last time when he was the former IG from Nasarawa State. When he was a police IG, he wanted to bring in I think the police academy. When he wanted to recruit, he strictly said that he doesn't need women much because the police work, he said, is for men. But no matter how it is, he has to mix up the gender. He was really forced to start. Yes, he wanted only men, but he was forced to give admission to people who are for women, girls, or let me say boys or girls from every state instead of equal. He didn't want to do it. I just wanted to make it only boys, but he was supposed to do that. So you have to look at the women folk too and give them a position, because you know they are mothers. What I like to know, they are mothers, they are wives, they are sisters. So we shouldn't just relegate them like that. Give them position too. I'm not saying that when we employ those who are not cannot give us, who cannot meet up with the corporate goals. You just have to employ the ones who can meet up with the corporate goals of the system. And gender is always a problem too. So that poses a problem to the manager, which he has to keep to. Women pressure, the women, what do they call the women empowerment? Different kind of women empowerment group will come in. Is that they want to take a look at? There's a study even that they says that you have to give women rights too. In anywhere you are, you have to bring in some women, don't only men. There's a study like that. So you have to open up. Even the management gives the women. If the management is comprised of men, they will say no, we need women too. Today, women are clamoring to become governors, clamoring to be president, clamoring to be House of Senators, and all that. We have to give them a chance, and so it is in the office. Women have to begin opportunity, but there are jobs that women cannot do, and only men can do. It's like that. So the women have to understand too that must be mixed. So that is a problem of the manager. Thank you very much, class. We have come to the end of lectures today. We'll meet next week, please.